better technique because 50-50. If 12 rounds, Crawford win, I think.
Anyone that thinks Crawford has a chance is a complete idiot. They have weight classes for a reason.
Too big? Too skilled?
Way too big, way too skilled.
Does he win? Can he beat him? Can he beat Canelo? Is his skill so much that he's able to bridge the weight classes?
He has a legitimate chance. Over 60% for his mind. If you say Bernard, give me a number.
Give me a number.
He has an 85+ chance to beat Canelo.
Pros are weighing in on the upcoming Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford clash. Israel Madrimov believes that if the fight goes the full 12 rounds, Crawford holds the edge thanks to his sharp power, high ring IQ, and knack for adjusting under pressure. Still, Madrimov admits it's not an easy call, since Canelo's experience and natural size make the matchup brutally tough. The fight feels like a true 50-50 battle.
If 12 rounds, Crawford win, I think.
Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, what do you think about that fight if they did fight? Looks like it's up for September.
Good fight. You know, if 168 pounds, I think it's Canelo, but it's Canelo better technique because 50-50. If 12 rounds, Crawford win, I think. If knockout, it's Canelo.
What makes Crawford so difficult to fight against?
He has power, smart, in more practical.
He has more experience.
He's very experienced.
When the idea of Canelo Alvarez facing Terence Crawford first surfaced, many observers immediately pegged Canelo as the heavy favorite. The reasoning seemed obvious. Canelo had long dominated higher weight classes, while Crawford was just starting to move beyond welterweight. Showbiz the adult captured that initial perception, noting how lopsided the matchup looked at first glance. Yet, as training camp footage and photos of Crawford emerged, the story began to shift. Crawford appeared faster, stronger, and impressively adapted to his new weight. Instead of being overwhelmed by the size challenge, he looked sharp, ready, and capable of taking his skills into a bigger division. The shift in perception shows how quickly opinions in boxing change once preparation and form are laid bare.
Grounds to stand on. Now, the other second point that I think is becoming a fact is this. This fight was initially kind of a one-sided credited fight where if Terence Crawford beats Saul Canelo Alvarez, he's on a Mount Rushmore. If Saul Canelo Alvarez beats Bud Crawford, it's kind of like, of course. But now the Bud Buddies has gone across all of social media and attacked social media so impactfully, like a plague, that now it's starting to give more value if Saul Canelo Alvarez wins. And let me tell you what I mean. You cannot tell everybody they're haters and they're stupid for thinking Canelo wins and say, hey, y'all gonna find out come September 13th how great Bud Crawford is. And you speak Crawford up, you know, you say, yeah, you said the same thing about Spence and Crawford that beat all these. You just don't know. You know, you have all these all-time great fighters saying that Crawford wins. So come September 14th, if Saul Canelo Alvarez has beaten Crawford or destroyed him, you can't take it back now. You're gonna have to be like, Saul Canelo Alvarez is on Mount Rushmore, right? I mean, you can't go this heavy all over social media and in which social media controls media. So it's everything. You can't flood social media like this and just wave after wave talk about how Bud is going to whoop Canelo and forget boots and all the preparation, all that stuff. And then if Canelo wins, you don't have the same energy.
Rolly Romero represents the skeptics who insist weight cannot be ignored. His blunt comment underscores a long-standing truth in boxing. Divisions exist to keep fights fair and protect athletes from overwhelming size disadvantages. Romero argues that Crawford, no matter how skilled, is taking a real risk by jumping so drastically. His perspective is rooted in history, where fighters moving far beyond their natural weight often paid the price against bigger opponents. In Romero's view, the skill gap alone cannot erase the physical difference. He stresses that Crawford's brilliance at 147 does not guarantee the same success at 168, especially against someone like Canelo, who has long ruled the super middleweight ranks.
We got Canelo, we got Terence Crawford. That's going to happen in the fall. It's going to happen here in Sin City, your hometown. How do you feel about that matchup?
Anyone that thinks Crawford has a chance is a complete idiot. They have weight classes for a reason.
Too big? Too skilled?
Way too big, way too skilled. And it's not, this isn't a skill matchup. It has nothing to do with skill.
Bernard Hopkins is not just a respected voice. He is a legend who built his career on intelligence and longevity. For him, giving Crawford an 85% chance is staggering. Hopkins points to Crawford's cerebral approach, patience, and tactical awareness, qualities that make him capable of frustrating Canelo. He sees Crawford's adaptability as his greatest asset, whether adjusting mid-fight or switching stances seamlessly. Hopkins suggests these tools could neutralize Canelo's trademark counters and relentless pressure. From experience, Hopkins knows physical disadvantages can be overcome by fighters who stick to their game plan. By giving Crawford such a dominant percentage, Hopkins frames the fight not as an uphill battle, but as an opportunity to redefine greatness. David Benavidez, a fighter familiar with the super middleweight ranks, brings a practical view, picking Canelo to win because the natural size difference matters.
Does he win? Can he beat him? Can he beat Canelo? Is his skill so much that he's able to bridge the weight classes?
He has a legitimate chance. Over 60% for his mind. If you say, Bernard, give me a number.
Give me a number.
He has an 85+ chance to beat Canelo. Why? He's not going in there to prove something which will fall into Canelo's hand. He would love for him to prove something. That means you will stay there and try to prove something. But to go in there and to let him know, establish that from the first round, that I belong without showing that I am tough. I earned my position to be here. And I want to show you, even though you're being stubborn, that your time not only have came, but it's gone. He ain't gonna surrender and say I slowed up, so I'm gonna act like it. No, he has to be shown. And it has to be early.
Benz points out that Canelo has built his entire career at higher weights and has grown accustomed to handling strong opponents at 168. Crawford, by contrast, is venturing into unknown territory. For Benz, the contrast between a natural super middleweight and a welterweight climbing multiple classes is simply too great. He frames it not as a knock on Crawford's ability, but as a recognition of how much comfort and familiarity matter at the elite level. To Benz, Canelo's experience in these weight ranges provides him with a safety net Crawford cannot match.
David Benavidez is choosing Canelo Alvarez to win over Terence Crawford. With that said, David Benavidez has finally given a straight and probably his final prediction for this fight, with him choosing Canelo Alvarez. Now, Benavidez, however, made it perfectly clear that despite him choosing Canelo Alvarez over Terence Crawford, this doesn't necessarily mean that he's actually rooting or backing up Canelo Alvarez. In an interview posted on the Rob's World of Boxing YouTube channel, David Benavidez explained that Terence Crawford, who's pretty much jumping 3 weight divisions in comparison to Canelo, who Benavidez views as a natural super middleweight, will be this fight's biggest deciding factor. Once again, Benavidez clarified that he's not saying that he wants Canelo to win. However, given the circumstances, his prediction is fueled by the weight division argument and not by his emotional or personal views regarding Canelo or Terence Crawford.
Tim Bradley offers a different interpretation of the matchup. He sees Crawford as the superior technician who can outthink and outmaneuver Canelo. Bradley emphasizes that Crawford's ability to make adjustments mid-fight has allowed him to dominate across divisions without serious trouble. In his view, Canelo's slower pace and reliance on timing could be exposed by Crawford's versatility. Bradley does not hedge his words. He believes that Crawford's ring IQ and precision will overwhelm Canelo. For Bradley, this is not merely speculation, but a prediction rooted in what he has consistently seen from Crawford. Dominance through adaptability.
Yo, real quick, just got done. I woke up 3 a.m. I don't know, someone told me to study Canelo, study Crawford. Crawford about to beat the shit out of Canelo Alvarez. I'm letting y'all know right now, he about to beat the brakes off of Canelo Alvarez. Yes, he is.
Yo, real quick, just got done. I woke up 3 a.m. I don't know. Something told me to study Canelo. Study Crawford. Crawford about to beat the _ out of Canelo Alvarez. I'm letting y'all know right now he about to beat the brakes off of Canelo Alvarez. Yes, he is. Brian Bomac McIntyre, Crawford's longtime trainer, dismisses concerns about size disparity. He argues that while Canelo has been fighting at higher weights, he is not an overwhelmingly large super middleweight compared to others in the division. Bomac frames Canelo more as a compact fighter who relies on strength and technique rather than sheer size. From this angle, the weight gap between Crawford and Canelo is less significant than critics claim. The trainer's perspective is built on first-hand knowledge of Crawford's conditioning and preparation. Having overseen countless sparring sessions, Bomac insists that Crawford has the physical tools to withstand whatever Canelo brings. His confidence is grounded not in bravado, but in years of guiding Crawford through challenges others doubted he could overcome.
Walk around big any goddamn way.
Right. Yeah. Now, Canelo is the bigger guy, right? But
he ain't the bigger guy.
That's what they say. They say he's wider, he's got more mass. How are you feeling about Bud going in there taking on Canelo's power?
Shit. I don't give a fuck about that power. Well, how you beat power?
Speed.
You said what?
Speed.
And what else?
IQ.
Timing.
That's why you're the coach and I'm not.
I mean, you make some good, you got some good answers, but that power ain't gonna be able to sustain throughout the fight. Watch. And he usually slows down between 6 and 7. If you slow down, that's a fucking wrap.
That's what
renowned trainer Robert Garcia sides with Crawford, focusing on skill over size. Garcia points to the countless examples in boxing history where superior technique outweighed physical advantages. For him, Crawford embodies the type of fighter who bends the rules of conventional wisdom. Garcia acknowledges that size can matter, but insists that greatness is measured in skill execution. He praises Crawford's patience, ring control, and timing, qualities he believes will be decisive against Canelo. By choosing Crawford, Garcia reinforces the argument that boxing is a contest of intelligence as much as it is of dimensions.
What are your thoughts on Canelo versus Crawford? Highly anticipated fight, quickly approaching.
I know a lot of people are not very excited about that fight, and they think the size difference, huge difference. But Crawford's big, man. Crawford's a very strong fighter. He's a very smart fighter also. So look, the way Canelo's been fighting his last couple of fights, where he's just looking for one punch at a time and maybe not doing enough to hurt his opponents, maybe not doing enough to finish them off. I could see Crawford pulling it off.
Decision?
I think Crawford could pull off a decision because he's fast, he's smart, and he doesn't need to run. He could stay around Canelo and just pretty much focus on winning a decision. Because I don't think he could knock out Canelo, but he could definitely win a decision.
Marcus Brown's observations provide a rare look behind the scenes. He emphasizes that Crawford's sparring is not limited to fighters his size. Instead, Crawford deliberately seeks out bigger opponents, sometimes even heavyweights, to sharpen his reflexes and test his resilience. Brown argues that this practice is the ultimate preparation for a fighter like Canelo. It means Crawford will not enter the ring unfamiliar with heavy shots. Rather, he will face them with the calm of someone who has rehearsed these scenarios repeatedly. This kind of conditioning builds both physical tolerance and mental composure. Brown believes this is why Crawford's transition up in weight will not be as daunting as many predict.
Just two more questions for you, man. Just would love to get your thoughts on, we got the mega fight, the big fight, Crawford, Canelo. Crawford said forget all that, catch weight and anything like that. You're going straight up to 168. What do you think about that? How much of a chance do you give him? Or who do you favor in that fight?
I got love for both of them. I like both of them. I'm a fan of both of them, but I'm going with Crawford. Typically fighters, they don't want to say who they want to go for because they don't want to be biased. And much respect to Canelo, but I'm going Bud.
Is there a particular reason why? Like, you're a guy that's moved up in weight, so you know exactly what it feels like to get hit by these bigger guys. Is that something that's going to play in the back of his head? Like,
of course,
gotta watch out.
It is, but it's not, because at the end of the day, it's not like he just got in there with somebody bigger than him. He's always probably been sparring with bigger guys. You know what I'm saying? It's that boxing IQ, which William Skull didn't put up no fight, but he showed somewhat of a blueprint to get this guy, in a space where he's confused. And he can't touch his target that's in front of him. You know what I'm saying? And I just think Bud got that IQ.
Is that the same thing that you do in your fights? Because, like you said, your last fight was in 2023. That was your first time moving up. Obviously, you beat the guy pretty easily. But is that something where you just like, I know I can beat this guy, I know I got the skills, but yeah, he's a little bit of a bigger guy than me. I gotta,
Right. Because this sport is about, hitting and not getting hit, swimming without getting wet, and taking the least amount of punishment. So, you gotta just, be smart and crafty in it.
Just last one for you. And I know you said you gotta be smart, crafty, and things like that. But I know you're also like a really prideful guy. Like I know a couple people that know you in Staten Island, and they always tell me, Mark's is a cool guy, a real prideful guy, never wants to lose at anything. You pick it. Motherfucker want to win at the
I hate losing more than I love winning.
Errol Spence Jr. respects Crawford's power, but believes Canelo's body shots will be the deciding factor. Spence points out that Canelo's commitment to attacking the body has broken down some of the toughest opponents in the sport. While Crawford has displayed knockout power even against durable fighters, Spence doubts that it will be enough to stop Canelo's methodical pressure. He predicts the fight will not reach the final bell with Canelo emerging victorious through accumulated damage. Spence's perspective carries weight because he has shared the ring with Crawford and knows firsthand how hard he hits. Yet, he still places his faith in Canelo's proven ability to dismantle even the most skilled rivals.
What is his prediction for the fight? So he finally gives it, and it is the following. He said that Terence Crawford's power is real, and he's felt his power is real, but those body shots from Canelo Alvarez are different. And he said he expects Terence Crawford to get knocked out somewhere around the 10th or the 11th round. Doesn't see it going the distance, and as a result, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people think that Errol Spence Jr. is just hating. And I got to tell you, if he was just hating, he would have the right to do it. Why is that? Because that is exactly what Terence Crawford has been doing to him ever since that fight got done. Terence Crawford was asked who his best wins were, and he didn't mention Errol Spence Jr. He mentioned Victor Postol. So I guess, hey man, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So Errol is not holding back his opinion on the fight and says Canelo's gonna knock out Terence Crawford. Now let's look at it for a second and think, is that a realistic prediction? Well, it is. Just like many people picked Terence Crawford to beat Errol Spence Jr. and the entire time that they said that, I was like, yep, he could absolutely get that done. I'd take Errol in that fight, but I would not be surprised, I'm not writing out that Terence Crawford could win that fight.
Bradley underscores his case by referencing Canelo's recent challenges. He recalls how William Skull, relatively lesser-known opponent, managed to take Canelo the distance and expose vulnerabilities. If a fighter like Skull could succeed in stalling Canelo's offense, then a masterful technician like Crawford should have even greater success. Bradley stresses that Crawford is not merely skilled. He is considered the best pound-for-pound boxer today. That distinction matters because it reflects universal recognition of his dominance. Bradley's point is clear. The myth of invincibility surrounding Canelo can be dismantled, and Crawford has the tools to do it convincingly.
On Bradley, man, y'all better stop with all the misconception. Stop with all the misconception about this Crawford Canelo. Man, I'm here to tell y'all, Crawford ain't getting knocked out. He ain't getting knocked out. Look, where the evidence is supporting that? Where is the evidence supporting that? Just because y'all think he lighting the ass, that y'all think that's just it? Man, y'all better do y'all research, man. Do your research. Come with some evidence. I'm about to let y'all know right now. Shit, just pay attention. If Skull, right, can hold Canelo to 152 punches thrown in an entire 12-round fight, 152 punches. You don't think Crawford can? You don't think Crawford can? You don't think Crawford can go the distance with Canelo Alvarez? If William Skull can go 12 rounds with him and keep him at an all-time low, 152 punches a round? Oh my goodness. If Charlo, 154 pounder, can go up to 168 pounds. Respect Charlo's skills, but he ain't got Crawford's skills. If he can go 12 rounds with Canelo Alvarez, you don't think Crawford can go 12 rounds with him?
Crawford's bold leap through the weight divisions is more than ambition. It is legacy-driven. Very few fighters in boxing history have successfully moved from welterweight to super middleweight while aiming for undisputed glory. Crawford's preparation has been meticulous, ensuring the added pounds enhance rather than hinder his performance. His team has focused on balanced strength training, nutrition, and endurance work, allowing him to keep his trademark speed and sharpness intact. This transformation is not just about proving skeptics wrong, but about making history. If he succeeds, Crawford will etch his name alongside the rare greats who dared to push beyond the boundaries of weight and expectation.
Around at these big weights, but the fact is his fight night weight was 169 let's just call it 170 pounds, which is huge, absolutely huge for a 154 pounder. Especially, it's just shocked me that he's come up from 135 and now he's still putting on that much weight. He's rehydrating that much at 154. And indeed, to bring us even closer to the modern day, the thing that was posted, and again, this is the second time we've seen this, is why I'm kind of thinking there's a bit of a theme here with Crawford posting his weight when he's not actually in full training camp. On February the 9th, 2025, he posted an Instagram story and he showed himself weighing 186 pounds on a gym scale. Now, that's so much bigger than I imagined Crawford would be. I never thought this guy would walk around at 186 pounds, which for anyone who needs the conversion is just over 84 kilograms. And now look, it's not an unthinkable weight for someone, but for someone who has fought as low as Crawford has, who is generally as lean and as in shape as Crawford is, that's a lot of weight.
And that's a wrap for today's deep dive. Stay tuned, because the story is far from over. Until next time.